What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another graded Black Series review. And it is overcast today. I have tried every single spot in my man cave where my collection sits, and this is the best I can do. So there's a lot of glare. I've tried every angle, and this is the best I can do. Glare is literally my enemy. If I could grab Glare by the face and punch him over and over again, I would. Anyway, I can't do any better than this, so I apologize. You're going to see some reflections and so forth, so I apologize, but this is the best I can do for you. Today, I thought we'd talk about one of the figures, one of the Black Series 6-inch figures that came back from Action Figure Authority earlier this week, and it is the GameStop exclusive Inferno Squad agent. This is for the Star Wars Battlefront II video game that is on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. It is a fantastic game. I have been playing it non-stop. I've got well over 1,000 hours in it, and it's just been so much fun. Obviously, it's a sequel to the original Battlefront that came out a few years ago, and they did a exclusive 6-inch Black Series figure for that as well. That was a shock trooper that was kind of like a stormtrooper that had some red accents, and it looked really cool. And it goes for, you know, if you get a graded one of those now, they go for quite a bit of money, well over $200 to get one of those. I do not have one to compare it to this one or to sit alongside it. It's a lot of money for a Black Series figure, considering they were about 25 bucks at retail. So anyway, I did get this one. It's an awesome figure. I got this one on eBay, ungraded, and it came back graded and got an awesome score on it. A good friend of mine on the channels, Blacked Out Ewoks, did a review of this figure and went into a little bit more detail about it, and you know, he pointed out that this is basically a repaint of the TIE Fighter Pilot, and he couldn't be any more correct. It's basically the same figure. I actually have the TIE Fighter Pilot somewhere, and I probably should have pulled that out of here so you guys could see it next to it. Let me see if I can find it. In the meantime, look at the beautiful teeth on this Rancor monster. He looks like he needs to go visit the dentist. And maybe Cy Snoodles and his band will play you some music. Give me 1 second. So I've got the first order TIE Fighter Pilot. I don't think I have the Imperial Tie Fighter Pilot to compare it to, so it's not a direct comparison, but you can at least take a look at it next to it to give it a little bit of company. So it's not so he or she is not so lonely. Inferno Squad, you know, in the video game, Inferno Squad was basically a tactical team of 4 or 5 individuals that wore these kind of outfits. And the main character in the video game her name was Iden Versio. She was a pretty cool character. And I feel like, you know, quite honestly, if I'm being honest about this figure, I feel like Hasbro kind of mailed it in on this one. I like it a lot, don't get me wrong, because I love the video game, and, you know, any kind of store exclusive I just go nuts over for whatever reason. I've got a bunch of Toys R Us exclusives that I think I've shown you guys the Hover Tank Pilot from Rogue One. I've got a couple of others that I am meaning to get to. The Obi-Wan and Force Spirit from Walgreens, and the Commander Gree from Toys R Us. So I've got 2 videos on a couple of other exclusive, but anyway, I do kind of feel like they mailed this one in. I think that if they really wanted to do the video game justice and the Inferno Squad justice, they should have made the helmet next to this person and then got a scan of Iden Versio to put in there. I think that would have been really cool. In the video game, Iden Versio also has a droid that attaches to her backpack. And in the game, you can use the droid to either shock enemies or pick locks or, you know, open weapon crates, things like that. It would have been really cool if they had done the helmet next to the figure, have Iden Versio's face, and then have the droid kind of, you know, with all the legs kind of spindled out there like a Imperial probe droid. That would have been really cool and would have been much less, or would have been much more kind of industrious, if you will, if Hasbro had actually taken the time to do that, but they did not. So, this is what we get. We get a TIE Fighter Pilot that's basically got some red paint on it. So let's take a closer look at it. I do like the figure a lot, though. I mean, it's a pretty cool mold. You can see the red accents. I'm sorry again about the glare, but you can see the red paint for the Imperial logo. You got some red paint there. I love how the hose is attached there. The eyes, the visor eyes are actually a slight tint of red as well. And so here's the artwork for the packaging. Only at GameStop. I believe that in the UK or in Europe, there is a game, franchise, a game store called Game, and I believe it was available over there. Correct me if I'm wrong for any of my European viewers. Here is the AFA label on it. Let's see if I can get it to focus. 2007. Oh, come on. 2017 Hasbro Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Inferno Squad Agent GameStop exclusive, and it came back with a 9.5. Unbelievable score. Really difficult to get these uncirculated just because they are store exclusives, but I mean, I could not have asked for a better score on that and was pleasantly surprised. I did a lot of research on this one and tried to find one that was in really good shape, and even then I still paid about 45 or 50 bucks for it, so it was very expensive, but well worth it in the end because it got a great score. Obviously, it does not have any number on the card on the box here because it is a games, a store exclusive. Any of the store exclusives will not have numbers on those. Let's take a look at the back of the card. Inferno Squad Agent. In the wake of the Death Star's destruction, the Empire created the Inferno Squad to ensure that Imperial secrets would remain safe. Their fierce loyalty to the Empire and exceptional skills in both aerial and ground combat set this squad apart from the rank-and-file troopers. And in the video game, it basically picks up right after the destruction of the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi, and it kind of goes into the protocol that Emperor Palpatine had in place in the event of his death, and it was a very, very cool story. I thought, in my opinion, it was a very cool story. But the game story was not great. I mean, the game's gameplay was not great. It was very kind of shooter by rails. For any of you that play video games, you know what I mean. It's just a very standard shooter. The meat and potatoes of the video game have been the multiplayer, and the multiplayer has been a lot of fun. I still play it today. One thing I just now noticed, though, is if you look at the figure, her wrist is kind of bent forward. It looks like she's getting ready to punch somebody in the face. So, that was just a factory error in terms of how the wrist is sitting there in the packaging. But I'll do it one kind of quick close up so you guys can take a look at her. I'm saying her because the main character was Iden Versio. She was a female. The weathering on the firearm is awesome. The blaster pistol is just really cool. It's got great weathering, great kind of chrome and detail there. And the figure itself is nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm complaining a little bit because of the helmet being on the figure. I wish they had done a scan of Iden Versio, but the figure itself is really, really nice. I love it. If you wanted to see a Imperial TIE Fighter Pilot out of the package, I encourage you to go to Blacked Out Ewok's channel to check that out, because he did a great job of showing the comparison. And here's the first order TIE Fighter Pilot, so a little bit different pose and sculpt, but very similar nonetheless. Let's see if we can get it to focus a little better here. Pretty cool. I like it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to have two hoses on there or if that's just the way it came, but pretty nice looking figure. Pretty nice. And this one, just for informational purposes, came back with a 9.25 uncirculated. So, can I recommend the Battlefront II Inferno Squad Agent? If you don't have the TIE Fighter Pilot, I would say it's probably a must-have. If you're just a Black Series collector like me and you like to try and get them all, then obviously it's a pickup. But it's not dynamic enough of a figure, in my opinion, that it warrants a purchase. Unless you already, if you don't have the Imperial TIE Fighter Pilot already, then yeah, I'd say go ahead and pick it up. But you're going to be paying a little bit more for it. But I get all mine graded, so I just thought having a store exclusive was a must, and given how much I played the video game, I thought it was a necessary pickup. But that's just me. That's really all I got. Again, I'm sorry about all the glare. It's just really hard with this overcast weather to find a good spot for it. But me and the Rancor, we're going to hang out, maybe have some Cheetos, Doritos if he's lucky. We got a lot of leftover Halloween candy too, so I might just be a glutton like Jabba the Hutt and like Jabba the Hutt. Dun dun dun. Ho 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 ho. That's my terrible Jabba imitation. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Unfortunately for you people.